Hey guys, before we get into today's review, I want to thank you all so much for those of you that are watching this and are subscribers. If you're not a subscriber, please help us hit our goal of 7,000 subscribers by the end of 2015. All you got to do is click this subscribe button right here, or click the subscribe button down in the bottom of the video, or there'll be some subscribe buttons all over this thing by the end of it. Thanks so much, and now let's get into the review. Hey there everyone, it is Brandon from Gearist.com. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Ambush mountain bike helmet from Specialized. We're very fortunate to have our home base here at Gearist be the Front Range of Colorado, particularly Boulder County. Now, while we do have testers all over the country, and in fact one in Switzerland right now, Tanya, who you may have seen in some of our Gearist Daily episodes, this is the place that inspires so many of our adventures, from running to riding to hiking to climbing to kayaking to camping to everything you can imagine. And one of the iconic things that you can see happening in the Front Range more often than not is mountain biking, and that's where this helmet comes in. Now, while we don't spend a ton of time on mountain biking, you can expect to see much more of that coming up in 2016. One thing I will point out is that this mount right here on top is for a Sony 4K action cam. Does not come with it. We have put that on there because we did some filming on this, and so just be aware that that is not a part of the helmet that is built into it. Before we get into how this helmet performed, let's talk about how it's built. And the first thing that I'll point out is that this helmet, like a lot of Specialized helmets, uses an internal aramid skeleton. Now, what is that? It's kind of a polymer skeleton on the inside that is going to really reinforce the basic structure of the helmet. And that multi-density EPS foam, this is the EPS foam here, is kind of molded around that. That means basically if you crash or something like that, the helmet's not going to just blow apart and then leave your head open to be messed up. In this case, it's going to hold it all together, keep your brain protected a little bit longer. Yes, the helmet will probably be ready to be replaced if you've had a crash that epic, but the point is that that is going to really increase the amount of strength, and with that multi-density EPS foam, it's going to make it able to not have such just thick foam all the way around. That multi-density foam is going to allow for a lower profile foam in some places because, again, if you've got a certain density in this spot because it's more apt to hit the ground in a different way when you crash or what have you, it doesn't necessarily need to be as heavy. And Specialized has done a really good job of thinking that through and making this a really, really low profile helmet for what it is. In addition to that, the Ambush helmet has a great shape, and you can see just in fact how far it comes down on the back of the head there. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it comes all the way down to this notch on the back of the skull right there and provides excellent protection. The retention system in the Ambush is Specialized Mindset 360. Now, in most Specialized helmets that you're going to see, particularly road helmets, you're going to see the Mindset 360 be kind of attached to the halo. This is that halo cage back there. And it's going to be free from the frame of the helmet. In this case, they decided to embed it within the helmet right here. You can adjust it up and down. It's actually a really clever use of saving space and keeping it out of the way. In addition to that, the dial is large enough to be used with one finger adjustment, even with long finger, full finger gloves on. Now, another part of the Mindset 360 fit system is this guy right here. The fact that this helmet can be adjusted with its fit along the sagittal plane. This is the sagittal plane, kind of this way along your body. So basically you've got 5 settings right here where these parts of these kind of 2 lines, if you can see there, of the retention system slide into the frame of the helmet, making it sit differently on the skull depending on the shape of your skull. And that's actually a really important thing, because one of the first Specialized helmets that I had with this system, I put it on and I was wondering why it was kind of so wobbly on my head. And then I, of course, read about it and realized that I could adjust that down so it really sits under the notch on the back of the skull and fits really, really well. Keeping the helmet on the head is Specialized Tri-Fix Web Splitter. These guys right here. And many, probably most bicycle helmets, you're going to see the web right here. You're going to see that as very adjustable. It's going to have locks of different variations where you can kind of adjust it around the ear and things like this. In this case, this is fixed. This is not the first helmet we've seen this in. We've seen this in the S-Works Prevail and some other Specialized helmets. But this guy right here is fixed, and I really, really like that because it takes the guesswork out of, well, I can't get it around my ear, and I have particularly big ears, so it's very helpful. As you can see, there's no guesswork. It provides plenty of room around the ear there, and it's just there. It's just in place. It's not something you have to continually guess about, well, is this going to fit around my ear? Because unless you've got like some just weirdness going on with your structure of your head, it's going to fit you just right around the ear. Again, some people are going to look at this as a lack of adjustability in that area. I really like it because I want a lack of adjustability in that area. I don't want to have to guess and futz with it so many times before I get it right, and this is just right out of the box. With regard to comfort, the ambush helmet has a lot going on. Let's start with the interior foam, this padding here. It comes with 2 sets of pads, one thicker than the other. I opted for the thinner of the 2 because I just didn't want it to retain all that sweat that I was going to be throwing into it, and I felt perfectly fine. Even on rough stuff where it was really kind of putting the screws to my entire body, it fit very well and held itself in place, even when soaked with sweat. Next is the extending visor right here. Now, a lot of the time, visors are placed on by some sort of a bolt or something. Now, while these are affixed with these guys right here, these aren't removable really, and this has a 16 notch, you can see it right there, adjustability, so you can kind of slide it up, slide it down depending on what you need. And the added advantage of this is that if you are wearing goggles in some sort of enduro event or hardcore muddy mountain biking adventure or what have you, there is plenty of room even for your goggles to go up here and place them on top of your head so you don't have to take them off or somehow find a way to slide them over the visor or put them on your head or put them down or whatever. There's plenty of room for them to put right up there. The final thing that I'll mention about comfort is its 4th dimension cooling system. This thing has a whopping 20 vents on it, and I'm not going to count them all, but it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, anyway. There are 20 total vents on this helmet to keep you nice and cool, starting with what has become a ubiquitous specialized vent. These right on the front of the head there, keeping the skull nice and cool and beginning that airflow over the top of the head and then venting it out the back right there. I have used this helmet in some really very hot conditions, over 100 degrees here in Colorado, and it has been comfortable all of the time. Of course, there are times when you want to remove anything on your head because it's just so damn hot, but this still does a nice job of keeping that heat away from your head and allowing as much ventilation as possible on such a protective and well-fitting helmet. Now, with regard to fit, as I mentioned a second ago, the pads that I chose fit me very, very well, but one of the coolest things to me is this 360 fit system, and as you can see maybe there, this is quite separated from the shell of the helmet to the halo. Now, what's great about this is that it creates that space in between the shell, which is attached to your head, and the shell of the helmet. Now, what's going to be great about that is it's going to allow air through. It's going to really capitalize on the 360 fit and the 4th dimension cooling system. All these systems are going to work together to keep you very comfortable even on longer and hotter rides. So how did the ambush helmet perform? Well, when I was wearing it, I have to tell you that I did not have any major crashes. I consider that a win, so I was not able to test it in terms of how well it would hold up during a crash. But I have to assume that based on the aramid construction, the skeleton, and the different density of the EPS shell, as well as the fact that it is very round, as you can see here. Roundness is a key thing that we don't really pay much attention to in helmets, but if you consider the fact that a round helmet is less likely to get hung up on rocks or even pits in road helmet or something like that, this is a really nice design with great full coverage down the backside of the head. As I mentioned a second ago, I was far cooler in this helmet than I really expected to be. And again, I chalk that up to number 1, the 4th dimension cooling system, and number 2, the fact that the 360 fit system keeps especially the backside of the helmet nice and separated from the skull with a small gap in order for that air to more efficiently flow over the head, keeping you cool. Now, I'm not a goggle wearer when I ride a mountain bike. However, I do wear sunglasses, and that is one of the things that stood out to me is the amount of space that there is around the head for sunglasses to go. Now, traditionally speaking, when you're wearing a road helmet, the stems of the glasses are going to go over the straps like so. But that just doesn't work in this helmet, okay? So what you're rather going to do is have them go underneath the straps, so the straps go over top of the stems right there, and it works out totally fine. There's plenty of room in there. I've worn different types of sunglasses. These have a rather straight stem. I've worn some that have kind of a more swing arm stem like that. And in any case, there's ample room underneath the straps and over the ears for these sunglasses to fit comfortably. Now, it's been a few years since I've gotten my head into a specialized helmet, and you can see that review actually right here for our review of the Specialized S-Works Prevail, but they've done a really good job. That helmet I really loved a lot, and this is a continuation of really great work by Specialized. As a bicycle company that is focusing on the rider and everything that the rider encompasses, they've done a good job of focusing on what's going to make them comfortable in a really solid mountain bike helmet that can even go into the enduro field. The fit, the adjustability, and the durability of this helmet is really nice, and one of the big key things for me is keeping cool while keeping protected. protected since I so often get so hot I just want to rip a helmet off my head. But this does a nice job of keeping things in place. Now, one thing that I do have kind of a gripe with this is that its price point is rather high. This is a premium product and it comes in at $180. I think we may have found it for a little bit cheaper if you look down in the description of this video. But $180 is not out of the realm of possibility, especially when you've got helmets coming in at $300 in the road category and other places. In any event, the Specialized Ambush is a really solid helmet that I think any mountain biker or enduro racer is going to really like to get their head into. Now, our question for you today is, do you have a helmet reserved specifically for mountain biking, or do you just wear your road helmet when you're mountain biking or road biking? Let us know down in the comments section below. Now, if you guys have any questions about this or any of our reviews or our other videos, please don't hesitate to let us know by emailing info@gearist.com. Alternatively, you can find us on all our social media outlets, which you can see right here on my right, your left, including, that's my personal Strava up at the top, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and right down there at the bottom, as I mentioned at the top, is how you can subscribe to YouTube. We are trying to hit 7,000 subscribers by the end of this year or more, and we need your help to do it. So really, please share the word. We would love to get more and more of you guys to be watching our videos as much as you can. Also, don't forget to visit Gearist.com, which you can see right there. We've got lots and lots of reviews and just great content for you guys over there. So definitely check it out and let us know what you think. Once again, you guys, thanks so much for spending a few minutes with us today, and we'll see you next time.